there, and welcome to Lost in Literature. Today we'll be doing Skimbleshanks, the Railway Cat. I must confess right at the beginning that I'm not a cat person. Uh, in the sense, I don't much care for cats at all. But somehow, this poem is such that I have fallen in love with Skimbleshanks the cat. He's one heck of a cool cat. Right. But before we begin, a little bit of history for you. Now, Eliot wrote this poem way back in 1938. All right. And that was the time when uh, Europe was in a kind of political tension because Hitler had come into power, and in fact, he was going around with this crazy idea about Germans being, very superior to the rest of the world. He believed in that Aryan supremacy theory. And so he was going around and terrorizing and threatening people. And he also started the World War II by invading Poland. And almost at the same time, you had Mussolini in Italy, and he was also veering towards dictatorship. So that's how the situation was. And that's when Eliot, came out with this poem, Skimbleshanks. So, though there are political shadows, falling on this poem, I still feel that Skimbleshanks is a lovely cat. And in fact, this poem serves more as a reminder to the dictators that, yes, people they admire organizational skills. They like all that in a ruler, and they like it when the rulers take care of their personal safety and comfort. But when the dictators get too powerful, and when they threaten the freedom of people, then there is bound to be some kind of an adverse action. So that is exactly what Eliot, I feel, is portraying through his poem. Because I don't know, the cat is so charming. Skimble is such a personality. So let's start with this poem, and I'll read out this stanza and kind of give you the main points in it, right? So let's start with stanza 1. There's a whisper down the line at 11:39 when the night mail's ready to depart, saying, Skimble, where is Skimble? Has he gone to hunt a thimble? We must find him, or the train can't start. All the guards and all the porters and the station master's daughters, they are searching high and low, saying, Skimble, where is Skimble? For unless he's very nimble, then the night mail just can't go. At 11:42, then the signal is nearly due, and the passengers are frantic to a man. Then Skimble will appear, and he'll saunter to the rear. He's been busy in the luggage van. Oh, wow. Stanza 1, you have the poet conveying the urgency of the situation. In fact, the poem begins with a hush because there is a whisper. Suddenly, people are wondering where on earth is Skimble, because it is nearly 11:39 and the train has to depart on time. But Skimble is missing, and he's the most important person. All right? And then you also have this surprise and indignation when people remark to one another, where on earth is Skimble? Has he gone hunting for a thimble? Now, Eliot is being rather playful here, talking about a thimble in the sense, has he gone on some, uh, uh, careless pursuit, frivolous pursuit? Or it could also be thimble is also an important part of the component of a train. It's used to put the carriages together, something like that. That's what I gathered from the Google. I didn't understand the mechanics of it. So we don't know now, but people are completely in a state. All right, they are hunting for him frantically everywhere. And everybody is involved in this hunt. And again, a humorous touch, including the station master's daughter. And there is a lot of commotion in the station, people running up and down the platform looking for Skimble. So much urgency. And then Skimble appears cool as cucumber. Super cool cat, isn't he? He'll turn up, coolly walk in a very leisurely manner because he is in control of the operations. He goes to the back of the train and then he gives the signal. And where was he? We come to know that he was overseeing things in the luggage van. And he would too, because it was a night mail. And what are these night meals? Basically, they are sleeping expresses, right? And they also have provision to carry a postal mail in terms of letters, parcels, etc. Because in those days, you're talking about the 1930s, there was no email or anything, and it was snail mail, and it had to be physically taken from one point to the other. So there he was in the luggage van, checking out things, making sure everything was in order. So we'll go on to stanza 2. He gives one flash of his glass green eyes, and the signal goes all clear, and we're off at last for the northern part of the northern hemisphere. Oh, wow. The train is at last ready to depart, and Skimble has taken his place, and now there is calm in the train, and the passengers are looking forward to the journey, and there's a bit of excitement, as there is always in the beginning of a train journey, particularly before it begins to move. And Skimble gives the signal, and how? With his uh, classy green eyes shining, right? And of course, the train starts at that. And where is it headed? We are told that it's going northwards. Well, maybe in the direction of Scotland. All right. So that's what we learn. It's headed towards the north. All right. Now let's go on to stanza 3, because now the journey is on its way. The train is on its way. All right. You may say that by and large it's Kimball who's in charge of the sleeping car express. From the driver and the guards to the bagmen, that's the salesmen, and they're busy playing cards, whiling away their time. He will supervise them all, more or less. Down the corridor he paces and examines all the faces of the travellers in the first and the third. Second has been missed. Maybe because that's where you have the freight, the luggage van attached for safety right in the middle. He establishes control by regular patrol, and he knows at once if anything occurred. He will watch you without winking, and he sees what you're thinking. And it's certain that he doesn't approve of hilarity and riot. So the folk are very quiet when Skimble is about and on the move. You can play no pranks with Skimbleshanks. He's a cat that cannot be ignored, so nothing goes wrong on the Northern Mail when Skimbleshanks is aboard. Oh my! So the train is off, and it is moving across the countryside, and it's very clear now that Skimble is the one who is in charge. He's the one calling the shots during this trip. He not only is in charge of this train, but of everything and everybody. All right, he keeps an eye on the personnel, the engine driver, the guards, and also the passengers. He marches up and down the corridors, the passageways, and he will observe the passengers, look at each of them to figure out what kind of people they are. Yes, he can look right into them. He has that quality. He's able to discern people, and he wants the people in the train to be well behaved. No hanky panky, no riotous behavior. They have to be quiet because it's the night train and people deserve to rest. So he goes up and down, keeping his eye on the passengers, no lax behavior, and he also keeps a watch on the people working, you know, on this train. He makes sure that they're on their toes and attending to their duties. So everything is hunky dory during this journey. Let's move on to stanza 4. Oh, it's very pleasant when you have found your little den with your name written up on the door, right? And the berth is very neat with a newly folded sheet, and there's not a speck of dust on the floor. There's every sort of light. You can make it dark or bright. Um, there's a handle that you turn to make a breeze. There's a funny little basin you're supposed to wash your face in, and a crank to shut the window if you sneeze. All right? Um, and then the guard looks in politely and will ask you very brightly, do you like your morning tea weak or strong? But Skimble is just behind him and was ready to remind him, all right? For Skimble won't let anything go wrong. Oh my, this cat has his eye everywhere. He is so good at organizing things, and he's very keen to provide personalized service to the passengers. All right? He makes sure that the name of each passenger is written, uh, you know, on the door of the compartment or cabin. And the bunk beds look very inviting, and they are provided also with sheets. All right, and the compartment is extremely tidy, and there are also additional comforts like the adjustable light so that you could make it dark or bright according to your wish. And there is also a handle to start the fan, all right, and a basin, imagine, so that you can wash your face. It's a basin with probably a bit of running water, and you can wash your face. And every comfort has been attended to, imagine. And even if a passenger so much as sneezes, he can just, pull a lever and shut the window to keep out the night air. And after all this, you have the guard, at each cabin, and he will ask whether they want, their tea. I mean, how they want their tea. Literally, weak or strong. Just imagine what first class service people are getting in in all the compartments with Skimble about, because he is a very particular cat, and he will do anything for the comfort and smooth running of the train. All right, let's go right on. And when you creep into your cozy berth and pull up the counterpane, you ought to reflect that it's very nice to know that you won't be bothered by mice. You can leave all that to the railway cat, the cat of the railway train. In the watches of the night, he's always fresh and bright. Every now and then, he has a cup of tea, with perhaps a drop of scotch while he's keeping on the watch, only stopping here and there to catch a flea. All right? So that is Skimble again, ensuring the comfort of all the passengers. The compartments are neat and very cozy, and naturally, in a place in a country like UK where the weather could be cold, it's so nice to get into a very cozy compartment, and the berths, the bunk beds are ready. And when the passengers, kind of uh, pull aside their counterpane and get into their warm beds, the poet feels that at that point, when they do that, they should remember with gratitude Skimble, because he would have taken care of all the mice. Excuse me. So they don't have to fear any vermin on board. They can sleep peacefully. There'll be nothing to trouble them and spoil their sleep, because Kimball, being a cat, would have taken care even of mice. And look at the way he attends to his duty. He's ever conscious, and he keeps vigil throughout the night without sleeping a blink. Of course, he drinks lots of tea. Uh, Here, I think Eliot is poking a gentle fun at the Britishers who are so fond of tea. And okay, we can't blame Skimble if he has a drop or two of Scotch whiskey, because it'll keep him alert. And if at all Skimble pauses while attending to his duty, it would only be to kill a flea or two as he is striding up and down the corridor. What a wonder cat he is! And you can't help liking him. He's so good at organizing things, he's so disciplined, and he is so authoritative where he should be. He doesn't want any ruckus, in the night train. People deserve to sleep. I really like this cat. Okay, even though he's quite a dictator, so to speak, but still, we can make a lot of leeway for him, right? Okay, now we'll go on to the final stanza, only stopping here and there to catch a flea. Oh, yeah, that comes in the earlier stanza. You were fast asleep at Crewe, and so you never knew that he was walking up and down the station. You were sleeping all the while he was busy at Carlisle, where he greets the station master with elation. But you saw him at Dumfries, where he speaks to the police if there is anything they ought to know about. And when you get to Gallowgate, there you do not have to wait, for Skimbleshanks will help you to get out. He gives you a wave of his long brown tail, which says, I'll see you again. You'll meet without fail on the midnight mail the cat of the railway train. Okay, now let's see what this cool cat does in the final stanza. See, the route has been concretized for you, right? The train is definitely heading to Scotland, and you have all these stations mentioned along the route. Crewe, where you have the cat, he is talking to the station master. My God, what an important figure Skimble is. And then the train goes on to Carlisle, and oh, he meets the station master there, which means at Crewe he was walking up and down the platform. I'm sorry. And then, of course, you have Dumfries, where he's even talking to the police because those were rather, um you know, tense times, and a war was underway. There was a lot of tension in the atmosphere in Europe. So he's talking to the police there, the cat. And after that, the train gets to Gallowgate, where the passengers have to disembark. Oh no, the Dumfries. Yeah, Dumfries is where he talks to the police. And then he gets to Gallowgate, and there he's seeing each passenger off, helping them disembark and saying a bye to them with the wave of his tail. My God, he's such a courteous cat, all right? And he waves goodbye to all his passengers. So, on the whole, if you look at this poem, even though the cat's behavior, that is Kimball's behavior, verges on um, something strict, we still love him because he's only doing it for the comfort of his passengers, also for their safety. He's looking after them. He's attending to their every need. But that's not the political situation in the world at that time, because you have the rise of Hitler and Mussolini, and these people are trying to gain control over the world and making people uncomfortable and making them feel threatened. So, surely Eliot was talking about the the goodness of a vigilant ruler, but at the same time nobody wants their freedom curtailed. So I would like you to keep all these points in mind when you look at this poem. It's a lovely poem, and I think you must enjoy it more than anything else. um, so uh, I'll be ending out here. I'll be stopping my talk out here. And if you liked it, do hit a like and subscribe to my channel. I would love that.